Hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending from where you are tuning in today. You are welcome. And on behalf of Mamlakak Broadcast Network, on how we affectionately call you, MBN, I am Ambassador Verin Lawson, coming to you live from our local studio right here in Savannah, Georgia. Today, we have another treat for you, as I mentioned earlier. We are joined by two beautiful guests all the way from the beautiful island of Nassau, the Bahamas, the place where God lives. Yes, you hear it well. The gorgeous Lady Pryia Russell, and with her beautiful mother, Ambassador Renee Johnson. They both need no more formal introduction into our panel, because they are one of the panelists is already a part of MBN, and the other one is a recurring guest. So today we are going to be addressing the topic, the prison is out of the mind. And this is something that is a live living experience. So it's not something that she is going to be sharing by just like a technique or whatsoever. Ambassador Renee Johnson and then Lady Pryia is going to share unto us everything that she understood and how she actually applied it to get the prison out of her mind. And so from the parent point of view, Ambassador Renee Johnson will be jumping in to give us some solution and recommendation and how she actually handled the situation. So allow me to reiterate again what Mamlakak Broadcast Network is. Mamlakak Broadcast Network is a platform designed to empower people from all walks of life with time-tested principle, living kingdom effectively. Our aim is but not limited to imparting knowledge and understanding by providing viewers with a practical solution to the daily life struggle, but most importantly, to bridge the gap of division within the ecclesia of Jesus Christ. So sit back, pull out your constitution, your notepad, and hear for yourself the tale from our panelists. Get your question or comment ready. This talk show will give you understanding to the plight of others who feel trapped and have been imprisoned and continue to go back and back and back. One thing I will ask of you, buy a share in these media businesses, simply by being the media evangelist like Andrew. Share these broadcasts with many people. You don't know who may be having a problem or trouble. So now the floor is yours, Lady Pryia. Can you please share with us and with all the audiences and all of the world how you managed to take the prison out of your mind?
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to speak with you. It was such, I don't even know, it's so many words that I can't even explain it in one definition. But tough was definitely one of the experiences I had. And I also like to start off by saying that I am a work in progress. I am by no means holier or more sanctified than the other. So I am still dealing with daily struggles. But to me, the root cause most times of persons ending up incarcerated, sometimes it's not even that they're a bad person, but in certain instances, you're weak-minded or you find yourself in company that is not for your true benefit, or someone is around you that may have an influence that doesn't have a positive impact in your life. With my situation, I would never consider myself a criminal, a drug dealer, a drug user, anything like that. But at the time of my life, I was in my early 20s and I wasn't keeping company with the right set of folks. And even though I knew that these people didn't have my best interest at heart, it was fun. And most times the things that are fun aren't necessarily good. Just like medicine tastes really bad, but it is good. So at some point in my life, I was just having fun. And I was blessed to have early independence. So at an early age, I had my own place, my own vehicle and stuff. So a lot of people took advantage of the freedom that I experienced. And I just ended up in a situation where someone placed drugs in my place, and that person was already under surveillance. So because the drugs were in my place and my name was on the lease, it was my residence where I lived. Of course, whatever was in the building belonged to me. So in 2010, I actually went on bail for 2 years. And then in January of 2013, I got sentenced to 2 years. So
Wow.
luckily for me, when my sentence had gotten passed, it was already at a point where it was 2 years max for that sentence. And each year was considered 8 months. That was 2010. And in 2011, it was automatic 4 years, 12 months per year. So I missed that by 3 months because it was September when I got arrested initially. And that experience taught me that the people that you think have your back really don't. And people that you would never think would be there for you, they surprise you every time. And, I had a lot of people that rejoiced at my downfall. When I first got sentenced, I would have the officers come to my dorm and tell me, like, who are you? Because we have so many people calling and asking, is it true? Is Priya really incarcerated? Is she up there? Like, what did she do? And they were like, why are they so interested? And I'm like, I would like to know. Like, if you call in about me and it's not for my genuine well-being, what is the concern? But I considered myself during my experience Joseph. I considered myself Joseph because he went from the pit to the prison to the palace. And I already knew that I was innocent for the crimes that I was charged for. So I figured, you know what? God have a reason for sitting me down. It's something out there that he is protecting me from that I am just unaware of. And so said, so done. At the time of my imprisonment, I was very angry at the beginning. I placed a lot of blame on people. I didn't take responsibility or accountability for how I got in the situation. And I was honestly angry with God because I felt like, if you love me, why would you do this to me? I didn't do anything to deserve it. Like, I know legit drug dealers that are free and never been to prison. So why am I in a situation where I just got caught up with keeping the wrong company? But it was to show me my own self-worth. It was to keep me protected. It was to build my strength, my character. It was to get me closer to him. It was for me to discover who God really was in the midst. And by the time as I was done with my experience, my question then was, why not me? Because I feel that I don't know how it is internationally, but in the Bahamas, I feel that we experience a lot of colorism. And normally persons of a lighter skin color are looked at or perceived to have it made in the shade or given a silver spoon or not to experience the same treatment as other people. I feel that I got the exact opposite. Because of how I looked is the reason I was so poorly treated. Because of how I presented myself and represented myself, I had prisoners and officers dislike me automatically because they said that I thought I was smart, I thought I was pretty, I thought I was these things, when I just was trying to do my prison time. So there are lots of obstacles that came with the actual prison, the environment, the food, the people, the situations. Every day is a new situation. And you just have to figure out, are you going to let the devil win and just succumb to what's happening around you? Or are you just going to stay strong and steadfast and stay out of trouble? And I actually ended up in a situation where I went to tribunal court for something that I didn't even do. But because I had so many people that didn't like me, it was easy for them all to rally together and say, let's put it on Priya. So I almost ended up getting an additional year onto my time for something that I wasn't even involved in. But ultimately, I feel like if you are a troubled person, in most cases, a lot of people are suffering from mental illness, from neglect, from lack of love, from damaged homes. And a lot of people are angry. A lot of people don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to deal with conflict resolution. So they've already come from a hostile environment. They probably grew up of a survival mode as opposed to a loving, nurturing environment. So when they come together in prison, it's easier for them to just do more bad as opposed to coming together and trying to do good. So you still have a choice in everything that you do, but I don't judge persons on how they ended up in jail. I just pray that they would take a step back and analyze and evaluate what got them in the situation so that they would avoid the situation happening again.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. I mean, you just gave me or us, the viewer, you gave three P's. Three P's is from the pit to the prison, and from the
To the
prison
palace.
to the palace. Those are the three P, the Joseph. So your experience actually caused you to get to know God in prison. First, you were so angry at God, and you kind of asking yourself, I haven't done anything. Why did I deserve this one? But you didn't know that that was a setup actually for you to be able to get that relationship with God. And I love the fact that you pointed out that in the prison you find people who have a low self-esteem, who grew up maybe in the survival mode, or maybe who grew up who are so depressive, and so that when they got into the prison, and if they do not know how or learn to try to change, then it's going to just getting worse and worse and worse. So um, as you were sharing, I wanted to just ask how you didn't fall into the same trap of those people who were suffering for maybe mental health, or survival, or in the survival mode of depression. What causes you to keep your mind intact?
So, like I said earlier, I had forces coming at me from the internal structure, external, the inmates. At one point, I just felt like a target. I just felt like there was nothing I could do that would excuse me from having to do extra. If I have a sick slip and I'm supposed to be excused from the doctor from any outside activity, there would still be an officer that would find a way to override that. And I would still end up outside. I would still end up cleaning the chicken, cleaning the dishes, cleaning the yard, doing stuff that wasn't even my duty, just so that they could prove to me, like, you in our territory now. I had officers who would tell me to my face whenever I would get up and put on lipstick and mascara and eyeliner and, try to look pretty and get my hair done. They would say, you don't know where you is, you in jail. I will wipe that smile off your face. I can show you. And these people on different ships, different officers, and they just had this point to prove to me that I am going to break you down. So just the fact that they were so confident in that, I had to show them I am more confident in God. I had to literally tell the chief of the entire prison that I rebuked her in her face, because she told me, I will make sure you here until next Christmas. And my date of release, it was Christmas at that time, and my release date was in May. And she told me to my face, I will make sure you are here until next Christmas. And I told her to her face, I rebuke you and whatever demons you come with, because I don't understand what that energy is towards me. So when I realized misery loves company, and these people have their own internal issues, therefore they have their own agendas against me, because I am still trying to be happy despite the situation that I'm in. And I said, you know what, if I was to react, these people will have more control over my life. If I were to fight or get in some problems, then they can extend my time. They can take away my privileges, take away my visits. They have so much power when I act out, as opposed to me going into my little corner, reading a book, crying, meditating, whatever I had to do at the time. I had to find a way to control my situation because I realized these people aren't happy. And I also noticed we have the issue in the healthcare system as well. A lot of people feel unappreciated, underpaid, and overworked. Therefore, even if they came into the business or their job with passion, sometimes that passion goes. And so they don't see you as a human anymore. And I felt that way most times. And there were officers because their color of uniform is khaki, and we would wear blue and white stripes. And it would come down to arguments between us and them. And they would say, to me personally, you in stripes, I in khaki. In other words, you are a nobody, you are a prisoner, you're nothing. And I'm like, so why did God put breath in my body? Why did he give me a brain, a mouth, eyes, nose? Why did he give me the same things as you if I am less than? And that's when I started to realize, you know what? He who is powerful needs to be merciful, because today for me, tomorrow for you. And I've always been a business person. I've always been professional before prison, during prison, after prison. And they would always try to take that away from me. But whenever I see them in person now, I just give them a business card and I just let them know, hey, you can still book a service with me. I can still provide you with products. I can still assist you, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to use the way you treated me to treat you that way, because you have some issues within yourself. You have some insecurities that you need to deal with, and I can't help you with that. And like I had discussed with you earlier, people have the choice of right and wrong. And yes, I would say our environment shapes us. But at the same time, for an example, one night in the dorm, I got up at like 1 o'clock in the morning to use the bathroom. Everyone is sound asleep because I'm at the back of the dorm, which means I have to pass everybody to get to the bathroom. Within, I would say 3 minutes max, by the time as I got back to my bunk, it was soaked with cold water. But everyone is still asleep. So I'm like, why all of this energy to be so underhanded and messy? And why y'all always messing with me at the end of the day? So I say, you know what? It's something about me. You can't, darkness can never overshadow light. So if that's what I represent, then I'll take that gladly. Jesus got striped for our iniquities. So I'll take a wet bed. That's no problem. But like I was saying earlier, I just felt like I don't want to be like these people. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be cantankerous. I already in an uncomfortable situation. I can't afford to be in a bad environment and have a bad mind. I want a pure heart. I want a clean heart. I want a pure mind. I want peace. I want to be like Peter and rejoice while I in the prison, knowing that I about to be beheaded and saying, Lord, I still thank you for today. And that's just the point that I had to get to. And when I first went to prison, I didn't know who was Peter. I didn't know who was Paul. I knew who was Mary and who was Joseph, but that was about it. So because I was treated so poorly, I had no choice but to retreat to the Bible, because that was my only friend. That was all I had, just the scripture and fake people. And so that's when I realized, you know what? God intentionally set us up around fake people, around bad situations, around these things to let us know they never mattered. At the end of the day, we only had him, have him, and will only have him. When we die, it's still me and him. So at the end of the day, I'm also reminded I actually went to a service on Sunday for the first time with my mommy. And although I always refer to myself as Joseph with the multiple color coat, the preacher spoke about Joseph, Mary's husband, Jesus's father, and how him being a carpenter is so important, because a carpenter comes with so many skills and so much patience and so much creativity and vision, because they basically could see something from scratch and then build something of it. And I thought of myself as both Josephs after that. And I was like, you know what? You have to have patience, resilience, vision, and all of these things that you encompass together are going to help you ultimately get to the next level. So
Wow.
that's how I didn't fold and become a statistic, because I realized a lot of their actions came from a hurt place, and hurt people hurt people. And I had to come to the conclusion also that I had a low self-esteem, because if I loved myself, I would have had boundaries and protected myself from even being put in the situation. So sometimes you're just put in a position where you can see your life mirrored through other people. And then you have a choice to either continue on the path that you're on and become like them or worse, or check yourself and turn around and start to do something new.
My goodness.
You can
My
get bitter
goodness.
or better.
You can be either better or you can be bitter.
Yeah.
Wow. And when you were sharing your situation or what you experienced in prison, this is a thing that I was putting down. So actually, the enemy agenda couldn't succeed over you because you have confidence in God and because you have the sense of a self-worth, so that even the words of those supervisor, or I don't even know how they call them, those people on the jail, I don't know how they call them, they make everything. But because you have made a choice that their word will not be as powerful as what you yourself had decided, and or let me put it in a better way, as how God decided concerning you. So this, I think that's a very key point, how people could actually get the prison out of their mind, because you were actually in the physical prison. And even though you were in the physical prison, you didn't allow the enemy word to try to interfere with the purpose of God over your life. So I'm so glad that you're sharing your experience, because many people out there, sometimes they may not even be in the physical prison, but they may be in the prison of their mind. And because of maybe something that have gone on into their life, or because of what they have been through, or maybe because of just a word of people, they have allowed the word of people to shape their own life. And therefore, they are trapped in the prison. And I'm so glad that you said, one thing you said, that hurting people hurt people. And also you said that your environment shaped you. Wow. And people have the choice between right and wrong. So you choose to do right. So that is why you are so strong today. And that is why you were able to go out and now do your businesses. I know that you are in the product, right? Do you have any one product of you that you could show us today, or maybe give us the link after, so that we could?
Yeah, I can definitely send a link after. I don't have anything with me on the spot, but I do make my own candles, bath bombs, bath salts, body butters, basically anything for health and wellness. And then I'm a certified massage therapist, certified esthetician, and certified nail technician. And I'm basically an entrepreneur sales lady. Like, I will sell ice to an Eskimo. So if it needs to get sold, I'll get done. But something that triggered me while you were speaking, because strength comes from pain. I saw a slogan saying, pain is weakness leaving the body. And some people just look at a prison sentence and say, okay, the actual building, the prison itself, the term was the punishment. No, let me tell you where I came from. I came from being an international distributor for a company, which means that I used to travel the world, get paid for expenses. I'm the representative of the Bahamas for these companies. Now, here it is, in the midst of me traveling and doing these things, this case comes up. I can't travel. I have to sign in 2 times a week at the police station. At that time, we had a prestigious spa hotel being built. And I was one of the first persons called for the position. They were like, oh, we see you here. We want you here. All this stuff. And I'm like, yes, went for the 3-day training. Now it's the day for me to sign the contract. Human resources sit me down. They just did a background check on me, and the background check tells them that I am on bail, and therefore they cannot hire me to represent their company, because there's a 50-50 chance I may get sentenced or not, and that would be a poor reflection for that company. There were so many times I was deflated. There were so many times I was depressed, and that's just on bail. That wasn't even the actual sentencing yet. So what I would do while I was on bail, I would watch Locked Up Abroad, I would watch prison stuff, and I would mentally prepare myself for the worst situation or scenario so that I wouldn't freak out. Because, like you say, people have prison in the mind. The mind controls the body. I didn't want my mind to lose it, and then my body followed. So I just would put myself in a mental situation. So here it is. I've been this professional businesswoman. Now I can't travel. Now certain positions that were available to me are not. It was so much that came with it. Now every time when I go into the station, because you got to bring your own pen and tell them I come to sign in book number 2 or whatever you come to do. So now when I come in, hey, I come to sign in, people looking at me like, what? Come here, come talk to me. What happened? Where this happened? Da, 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 da. So I'm like, look at the position I'm in. I come in these places dressed like a professional, but here I come to sign in because I on bail for a drug case that I had nothing to do with. And I'm like, wow, look at the stigma that this gives you. And it really put my self-esteem in a bad place because it made me feel like I couldn't I couldn't reach where I wanted to go in life because so many opportunities were taken away from me because of this case. And even after the case, it's 7 years until you could even apply to travel. 7 years, you have this record. 7 years, anyone who looks you up can see that this is the experience you had. And a lot of people, like in the Bahamas, sometimes they say, when you bathe in jail water, you always dirty. So in other words, some people have this mentality like you could never be a full human again once you had a prison experience. But I'm here to tell you, once you go to prison and you do the right thing, you come out holier than you were before. You come out cleaner than you were before. So it's no human who could tell you if you dirty or clean. It's only God that could determine where you go and your thoughts and your heart and your mind. So I just wanted to put in there that the bail experience was terrible. It was rough. It was bad. The sentencing experience, to hear your family cry, to know that you hurting your family, to know that you taking yourself away from your family, to know that you putting your family and your friends in a position to come to a prison where they probably never been in their life. When you come to prison, I want you to know you are treated as a prisoner as well. Just the fact that you're related to a prisoner, they have no respect for you. They treat you poorly. It is basically like you're receiving a punishment just for being related to the inmate. So the whole experience is disrespectful. And I just felt really bad that I even had to put my family through that experience. So I just want people to know, just like you said earlier, even if you experiencing mental prison, once you stay fast to God and you pray, you meditate, and you mean it from the bottom of your heart, cry out to him seriously and let him know that I give up. That's all I just was like, I give up. I can't do it anymore. I don't know how to and I don't want to because me doing it on my own keep messing me up every time. And I want you to know also after prison, I still wasn't making the right decisions. I still rushed into relationships. I still didn't love myself and put boundaries up that I should have because of my experience. So, like I said, it's still a work in progress. I've been released now since May 2014. My record is now clear. I've already traveled since the last time. And from when you put God first, everything else will fall into line. But just know that it's not an easy road. And I always say that God gave me tough shoes because he knew I would have to walk a rocky road. And something else I did in prison, I also used to journal a lot, write a lot of poetry. And after I came out, I had one of my really good friends tell me, you need to speak about your experience. And we actually hosted an event at National Art Gallery of the Bahamas where I spoke my piece, Prison Poetry. And I had so many people come to me and tell me they were moved by my testimony. And, I just let them know no message without the mess, no testimony without the test. So sometimes God has to get you in a situation where you just like the prodigal son. When you're already dirty and messy and you about to give up, you just say, come, my child. Come, let me give you this good robe and this ring. Let me bathe you off and make you feel better.
I love that. I love the way you put it, because you put it so beautifully. Sometimes people are feeling so wow, I mess up. I don't even know whether God could forgive me. I don't even know whether I could fit it in again. This company took me out, that company took me out, and I am a mess. So they don't know actually that everything that they have been through or they are going through is actually for their message and for their testimony, because God actually is working their life out of those trouble. And as I often say, I say that our life, we have to picture our life as a puzzle. We have a little part everywhere. So, and then once when we're gonna die one day, and then we're gonna get to heaven before Jesus Christ is gonna pull out the big picture, and then he's going to show us every part that we were supposed to take to get to have that beautiful image. And so your experience in prison is actually one of the part, I may say, a part of the puzzle of your life. And I thank God that you understood it, and then you didn't sink into it like being a sad pity, money upon yourself. Oh, me, oh, me, oh, me. No, I love the fact that you share that you condition your mind. You prepare yourself before you actually go into the physical prison. And many a time we do not self-prepare. Many a time we do not self-condition ourselves, even going through some situation. And therefore, once the situation hit us, we are stuck in it, and the situation has been gone over maybe for the last 10 years. We're still stuck in that situation for 10 years, and we could not advance in life. And thank you very much, Lady Pryia, for how you actually build upon everything and share to our audience how they could actually take the prison out of the mind. And one of the key points that you say is that you remember how your family felt and all that. So I could actually imagine as a mother how your beautiful mother Renee Johnson felt. So I would like now to hear from her how she handled this situation from the parent point of view. Beautiful Renee.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
How are you? Great.
I'm great. I'm great.
Did you manage the situation as a parent point of view?
Well, I'll take a deep breath first. I can tell you, there's no parent out there. Everybody who has a child, normally when that child is born, that is the happiest moment. The Bible normally tells us we should mourn, but we do the opposite. When the child is born, oh, she's so cute. Oh, look at her hair, look at her skin. And we always look at that part of it. So that's what it was. I have 2 kids, and both are girls. And so when the situation occurred, in my mind, I was in shock because there were some challenges that was happening at that time. And so the day of the event, I remember telling her, sharing something when I felt like the Holy Spirit had told me to tell her. So the very day that she was sentenced was the day the Holy Spirit did not allow me to go to court. And so, and I know she couldn't understand it, but he would not allow. I went for every other time she was there. I was there every day. And so I didn't get the news that she was sentenced until her father called me. I think it was that evening. And so when I got the news, I sat down, and of course I was in shock because there was still in my mind, I was hoping, because even though our children they have minds of their own, we can't make them, we can't decide for them. We can only do, and again, like you said, we're all work in progress. We're not, as a mother, I became a mother at the age of 22 and 25. I had both of my kids. So I still had a lot of youth in me. And so I had to learn some things quickly. And as they matured, there were some challenges I faced in the relationship. And so as her father and I went separate ways, there were some loopholes that weren't filled. So you go back in your mind and you start thinking, well, what could I have done differently? Why did this happen to me? And then What I had to do quickly though was this. I had to, in my mind, not allow negative thoughts to take over, because the prison, this topic, prison of the mind, simply creates for everybody who would have experienced something like this, the doubts, the fears, the shoulda, coulda, woulda, why didn't I? What could I have done differently? You know, you always ask why. And so for me, of course, it wasn't crying. At that time, I had a full-fledged salon, and my clients who had found out, everybody wept and wept. It was a point where we were having crying sessions every time. Every time someone came, it was a new crying session. So for me, knowing that my daughter, who I know as intelligent as she is, as well gifted as she was, and as personable as she was, and she was, like she said earlier, a leader. She always showed leadership qualities. So she was leading the distributorship for a company that we both worked with. And so here it is now, in the middle of this distributorship. I gave up the distributorship. And so it was in the middle of all of this that here it is. I don't know what to do. So as a parent, I want to say to parents out there, your children will make some bad decisions from time to time. I always reflect back to me. You know what my mother said to me the other day? And I smiled. She said, you know what, Renee? You are always my most difficult child. And I was like, really, mommy? And when she said that, right, I smiled because I was always different. I was always the leader in terms of, I was never afraid to do, and I saw a lot of that in her. So somebody came in the salon and she started to cry. She said, she can't handle that. I say, listen, that girl is tougher than you think. So I had this, instead of my clients consoling me, I had to console them, because my kids grew up in my salon. They grew up around me, and they grew up with the clients. So as a mother, when this happens, again, after you do all the questioning, you have to now stand still. Stand still and believe, and know that this too will get better. And as I spoke to my own mother, she said she had a dream. And in this dream, she felt like God was protecting Pryia. She said Pryia was in a place where, she said, two things: she could have either been dead or prison. So I said, like Medea says, I'll take prison for 200. So for her going to prison was, believe it or not, it was something that created a beautiful thing. The prison kind of took off all those rough edges, and I always say people, and I know I had this conversation with one or two persons before, and I say to them, when people would come to you, say, listen, don't get twisted, don't get this mixed up, okay? Don't mind this face and this body. Don't do it. So I knew she could have handled herself. And many nights, the Holy Spirit would wake me up, and he said, pray now, pray now, pray now, pray now. And I would get up and I would walk, and I'm sleeping. I'm like, God, what happened? He said, I want you to pray for Pryia now. Pray for her now. Pray for her now. And you know, last year, as we were going through this pandemic, and we were having some challenges, and everybody was distant, you know, the Holy Spirit reminded me of, he said to me, he said, my prayer, your prayer will and can go beyond borders. So I said that to every parent out there. When you find you're having struggles with your children, and you would have told them and warned them and given them all sorts of advice, pray, pray and believe. Do the things that you have to be, and you have to be that example. You have to be that light. If your kids don't see light and you're saying to them, do this, do that, do the next, why are they going to change? We can't just say things and believe that our children are going to do it if we're not following. And like I said, I'm still a work in progress. They know I'm a on-time person. So when we're doing this, she and I may have a little tension. Listen, time. But that's the differences. And like I say to my kids, I am not your friend. I always hear people saying that. I am your mother. My job, Dr. Monroe told me when I was having challenges, when I didn't know what to do. He said to me, you will always be their mother. You gave birth to them. He said, but, no, he said, do not, but he said, but when it comes to the parenting, you only parent your child until they become of age. And I say that meaning this. And I asked him what he meant. He said, you are a parent as long as your child depends on you. But when you become, but because you're a mother, allow them to come to you. Allow them to ask you. Stop trying to dictate and tell them, I want you to be this. I want you to do that. Because when she came out of prison, she could tell you, I had a whole salon spa set up for her. It was like state of the art. And she came and she was all happy and all of that, but how long it lasted?
Couple months.
Couple months, and she's like, I'm out of here.
I went traveling, buddy.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so even though we may want our kids to do certain things, we have to allow them to be what God put in them to be. She ended up coming full circle though, right back to it.
That's good. That's good, you know, because God works in phases. He works in phases and he works in season. And then sometimes we want to cause God to work like the microwave. And he said, no, I'm not going to work the way you think I'm going to work.
Yes.
Just trust the process.
Yes.
I just wanted to touch on those times when she said God would wake her up out of her sleep. I spoke about the physical aspect of being in prison, but you also have to realize we were people with different gods, different beliefs, different nationalities. And at the end of the day, I had persons that would physically tell me to my face. Like I was literally laughing with my aunt today. And I was telling her how me and one of the ladies had a disagreement in prison. And she said, I turn you into Beth. When I turn you to Beth, I let your family eat you while you cry. So basically, Beth is cow in Creole. So because we had a disagreement, she basically was like, I'm going to turn you to a cow and I'm going to let your family eat you. And I was just like, really?
It's
Like,
good that you didn't allow, it's good that you didn't allow her words to sink into your mind so that you become exactly what she was saying, because word can transform, words can kill as word can bring alive. And I'm so grateful that you said,
because my thing is, if the God you worship is so powerful, why are you in prison with me? You're supposed to be free. So if we're in the same building, your curses can't touch me. So I would just rebuke them. But I'm just saying there were people that outwardly did not believe in God that would be chanting these things that you could feel was wrong. You could just feel the vibration of them. And we had spiritual attacks within the prisons as well. Strange things happening, strange sounds, like literally ghostly things happening in the prison. So it's not just a physical warfare, it was also a spiritual warfare. And those times when she said that God would tell her to pray, I would have dreams in prison. And just as my dream would come, I would be attacked by snakes. I would be attacked by centipedes. I would literally have physical manifestations happen because there were people literally praying and plotting on my downfall while in prison. So I just wanted to put that out there, that prayer really changes things. Wow. Once you have that connection and you are in alignment with the Father, he's going to protect you. So because he already knew what people were doing against me and he knew my heart was right, he put it in my Grammy and he put it in my mummy and he put it in whoever else spirit to give me that extra hedge of protection, because he already knew the wiles and the evils that these people had plotted against me.
Yeah, and that's why you see sometimes people who go into prison, they die there because they have nobody interceding for them. They have no one, and I'm so grateful for how you put it together, that the environment of the prison itself is a demonic environment, because prison is not for God.
No,
prison is not for God. So therefore, you are actually in the territory, or let's say in the satanic territory, and then you need to fight your way out of it. And thank God that you have a prayerful mother, because for those who do not have a prayerful parent, for those who do not understand prayer, or who do not even believe in that God, or even believe in prayer, that's how they are alive, even though they spend 20 years out of in prison, and after when they go out, they're useless. Why they're useless? Because the damage has been done into their mind in prison. The devil play with their mind, play and play and play, and making sure that they will amount of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful for really the intercession of the mother, not only of the mother, the grandmother, and the other parent who were praying also for you.
I
Wow.
just like to add this too. There was a time when before she went to jail, she actually, you have to say that word. She found out she had some
Trigeminal neuralgia. It's basically an inflammation of the trigeminal nerve, which basically runs across the face.
right.
And so that would flare up from time to time in excruciating pain.
And so we went to see her. And when she came to see, she's normally cheerful and she was jovial. She really, the first couple of weeks, she was a hot mess. I kid you not. I got reports that because we had God is so faithful. There was not a person that for some reason the wardens that we for some reason somebody would know, they would say a word, please look out for Pryia, look out for Pryia. And so they were looking out for her, but she was in such a mess. She was so angry. She lashed out at all of them, right? So they would say to us, I can't help her right now. I went to talk to her and she just fussed me out. So she's on her own. So I said, you know what, leave her alone for now. She's in a different environment. No one saw this coming. So leave her. I'm telling you, give about a month, she'll pipe down, right? But this time we went to see her, and what happened was they were allowing others to hug the persons. And they said, oh, they came from the island, so they're allowed to hug. So we said, but we didn't get an opportunity to hug her yet. It's been months that she's been in. And this particular warden came and she told me that I must go someplace. Oh, yes, you didn't hear me. And at that same time, she was having an attack. So she had this pain and she was supposed to be on bed rest. And they had her doing duties, even though she had a card from the doctor's office to say she's not well. But they again decide that no, well or not, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. So we asked her what happened, and she said, I don't feel well and I'm on sick leave, and they're not allowing me to take my sick leave. And so I spoke to the warden. Hi, is it okay? I noticed this person hugging me hug, and they just lashed out at me. And she talked to me like I was a prisoner. And I stood to her and I said, listen, I came here as a free woman. I said, I refuse to allow you to talk to me like that. So I called my lawyer when I left, and she's like, oh, you know, if you say anything, they might do more to her. I said, if I say anything, they might hurt her more. I said, I'm just going to talk this because I am going to write this letter, but I'm also going to write this letter up here. And I wrote the letter. They had the tribunal, and she'll tell you more about it. But the point I'm making is she'll tell you exactly what ended up happening. I'm saying this to parents out there. You may not be able to physically do anything for your children, but whatever little you can do, if you believe in the innocence of your child, and you know God probably have that child in a protective casing, you need to let the process happen. Don't fight the process. But whatever you can do, and if God lay on your heart to write a letter, don't let anybody else tell you, oh, if you write the letter, certain things is going to happen. I wrote the letter and they did call me, and I did tell them what I had to say. She'll explain to you more what happened even after I wrote the letter. But guess what? Prayer changes things. That's all I want to say on that topic.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Lady Pryia, can you please share with us what happened after your mother wrote the letter before we go into the question? Because we have some questions.
Leading up to that, what had happened is, like I said, I had an attack. I had to go to medical, which is in the maximum prison side of the campus. So I got the sick leave, the sick slip that I was to be on bed rest. The officers did not like me. So the one in charge that day, I was in the shower getting ready for my visit. She called me out the shower to tell me I have duty. So I said, I don't have duty because I have a sick slip and my visit is coming. This woman cursed me like a dog, basically made me come outside. And then she went to the other officers that were in charge of the visit. And I don't know what she told them, but all I know is they called me in that office and they cornered me. And the one in charge put her fingers in my forehead and was like, who the F you think you are? Who this and this and this? You don't have no F in sick slip. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why would I make this up? Like, why? My thing is, the lady that was actually in the doctor's office with me is the one that is telling me she doesn't know anything about what I'm speaking of. And I'm like, but you were there. So it was a whole gang of them. So they basically tried to intimidate me right there and then before my visit. So when my family came, I was still dirty. I didn't get a chance to shower or get clean or anything. So I was already depressed at that point. So I guess now, one thing about the officers that they say, if one lie, all have to lie. It's no righteousness. It's not who's right or who's wrong. It's not who's guilty, who's innocent. It's what could be proven. So once everyone have the same story, that's what they stick into. So they're already formed against me. And so therefore they already put in their mind, we're not letting her hug a visit. We're not letting her do this. We're not letting her do that. So when the children came to hug me, the lady was like, get up, back, da. So my mommy was like, why are you talking to the children like that? What's going on? Why are you doing that? So I was like, you know what? I could already see where it's going. Let me go to my dorm. Next thing I know, my mommy and the officer exchange words. And when my mommy go, the officer comes to my cell to tell me I better tell my mommy beep, 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 beep. So I'm like, how dare you? How could you disrespect my family in front of me? Now you coming to me to disrespect my mommy to me. And I'm not supposed to have a problem with that. And the next thing I know, I get put into a tribunal court for something I had nothing, absolutely wasn't a part of anything at all. And all of the officers, including the ones that I thought were nice and the ones that were friendly, they all signed to agree that I was a part of this. And it was only the grace of God that allowed me to be free because I would have had a whole additional year onto my time just because I tried to speak up for myself about a sick slip, and then my mother spoke up on my behalf.
Yes, so the word say clearly that no weapon fashioned against you shall prosper.
No.
God never said that
they
there won't be a weapon.
But they didn't prosper.
So they formed their weapon. They gathered together. They took counsel. And they thought, okay, now we're going to trap her with this one. But one thing they forgot, that you are the righteous child. And nothing can stand against the elect of God. I don't care whether it's the jailer or the governor or whoever, whatsoever. Nothing can stand against the righteous child of God. And that is why you have that favor of God upon you, even though he calls you to go into that prison. As you say, you consider yourself as Joseph. When you see the life of Joseph has a favor, and wherever Joseph turned, the Lord blesses him. So whether you be in prison, whether you are out of prison, the Lord bless you because you are a righteous child of God, and then you have that favor around you. And I don't know about all the audience and the viewers out there, but I want to cause them to understand that one thing is needed. Once you are solid grounded in God, or you have parents that are solid grounded in God that could pray and intercede, the power of God overrides everything of this world and even the satanic kingdom.
Yes.
Agreed.
Totally.
So that is awesome. Awesome you're sharing. And now let's do you have anything before we go back to the question? You want to add something before I ask you those? I have question coming from the audience.
I mean, one of the things I try to encourage Pryia with is, I tell her past doesn't need her anymore. Her future does. So she is taking that past, throwing it behind her. And like she said, she's still she said, what you say, in progress?
A work in
progress. And that's what we have to all recognize. We all work in progress. We don't always get it right. As a parent, we will not always get it right. I was just having a conversation with her yesterday, and I said, you know what? I have taken all the guilt off me. I said, I have 2 grown kids, and my job now, an obligation, is to help raise my grandkids in a way that I can be that thing that they look, that beacon of light. When there's a challenge, they can look and say, well, Grammy is this way, and Grammy is resolute in her beliefs. And so Grammy is showing me the example. And so that's my positioning right now. I tell them I am not the Grammy of the wants. I'm the Grammy of the needs. If you need something and I can help you, I will fill that need. I'm not the Grammy who believe that you have to have this, you have to have that, you have to. No, I'm the Grammy of the needs.
That's beautiful, beautiful. So let us go move to the question. I have a question. It's either of you can respond to it. The first one is, what will you tell youngsters out there who are in the pit? What would you tell youngster? That means young people. Sometimes youngster could be young in the mind. It doesn't mean young in the age. What would you tell them who are in the pit?
Most youngsters make bad decisions because they're so impressionable. And like I said, to me, the foundation is a lack of love and nurturing in the home. So because to me, most single parent families breed these types of environments, they look for love and they look for acceptance. So most times they would consider a gang or something with a negative impact because those persons are showing them attention. But at the end of the day, these people don't have your best interest at heart. So it's so difficult to just say love yourself because love is an action word. If you weren't taught love, it's hard to love yourself. And I'm still learning this as an adult, 35 years old. So children who are already going through hormonal changes, school environment, peer pressure, bullying. On top of that, the media is making it even worse because Satan wants to glorify everything that is bad and make it look good. So at the end of the day, I would suggest that you would try to find an appropriate church home or something godly based, some type of mentorship that could put you in the right direction. But that's also easier said than done because most young people find godly activities boring. So it's how do you subscribe to the youth to get them to be interested in following God in a fun fashion because they still want to live life. They still want to have fun. They don't want to feel old and dreary at a young age. So I guess it would be up to people in positions of leadership to form more youth counseling programs. I know we had urban renewal for a while in the Bahamas where they would try to facilitate younger people and get them involved in activities. But at the end of the day, it's a difficult journey when you come from a broken environment, you don't know what love is, and you want to be accepted. So lots of prayer and reaching out and love and acceptance as opposed to judgment.
Great, 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 great. That means actually people need to more extended love, showing their love, feeding them with more loving word, feeding them so that they could better understand that okay, they are loved and they are accepted. And I really love that. And the second question is going to publish? Are you going to publish your book of your poetry of your story?
I've been asked this question before prison even came into my life. My life has been extraordinary to say the least. So I'm assuming one sweet day I'm going to get started on that because I feel that I haven't just went through these experiences to not help someone else go through theirs. So one sweet day.
Of course, because MBN would really love to have your book feature among our resources, and so that we were going to invite you back so that you could actually talk about your book because that's your life.
Right,
No,
and I'll do my autograph signing.
Oh yes, sure. Of course, of course, of course. And so, my other question, the other question coming up is that, are you having any encouraging word for someone of wait, let me read it correctly here. Are you having encouraging word for someone in prison or a prison inmate who knows somebody maybe watching on Facebook right now, MBN? Do you have anyone that you want to encourage who is maybe in prison, or maybe some people that you may know that they have some loved one in prison whose loved one may be actually watching this program right now? Do you have any encouraging word? Encouraging word.
Just trust and believe in the process. And I've experienced prison from both sides. Sometimes it gets really lonely. Sometimes you think that everyone has forgotten about you. Life is hard in the free world too, because we call prison prison and outside prison, the free world. So don't think that people don't love you, don't care about you, but people can't give from an empty cup. And sometimes people don't even understand how much it took away from them for that person to be out of their life. So at the end of the day, just have some patience and just know that if God could clothe the lilies and he can feed the birds and he can do these things that are not even as qualified as us as human beings, just know that once you give it to God, he will multiply it. Just like how he took the fish and the loaves and fed the multitudes multiple times. He didn't even just do that once. At the end of the day, like I said, I came to the conclusion God took everyone and everything away from me so I could focus on him. So when you feel lonely, when you feel desperate, when you feel like people gave up on you, just give it to God and you'll be surprised to know what he could do. Find scriptures, go into your closet, go into your meditation. And as I said, also, I've been to church on Sunday and he said the same thing. You have to study to show yourself approved and you will not get the same message every time. Every time you read it, you go deeper and deeper, and the things that were in the background now come to the foreground. So take your focus on what people aren't doing for you and just focus on what God has done for you and what he will continue to do through the process.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Before we wrap up, do you have any final remarks, beautiful Ambassador Renee Johnson, from the parent point of view? You have
Yes.
2 minutes for that. And also Lady Pryia, our honest guest, recurring guest.
Yes, yes. Okay, what you asked earlier about, would you say to someone who find themselves in a pit? There are two things: there's right and there's wrong. And you know when you're doing something right. It's called your conscience. And if you tune into your conscience, you will find that you will make the right decision every time. You don't have to be the belle of the ball. You don't have to be the leader of the gang or the Big Mac. You don't have to even be somebody who have all answers for everybody, because you cannot be everything to everybody. So I'm going to encourage persons out there, find out who you are, find out why you were born, find out why you were created. That thing that bothers you, that thing that always irks you, that needs to be fixed, that problem that you can solve. You are a problem solver. And if you find yourself in the pit, whether it's in prison, whether it's in a depressing situation, whether you find yourself with lack, I am telling you, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and all other things that you are worried about, all the other things that you are concerned about will be added to you. So as we continue, we must recognize that we have to, I know it sounds so casual all the time when we say put God first. I am telling you, if you put God first, and that means in the morning, like I say, when you put your feet to the ground, God, I thank you. The fact that you could even feel, put God first. And I'm telling you, everything around you will begin to change. Everything.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that sharing. Lady Pryia, final remarks.
Freedom is a must. At the end of the day, I learned that in a few languages, but I used to shout all the time, liberté, c'est pouvoir. Just know at the end of the day, it have to come to an end. It has to. So just stay strong, steadfast. And like she said, once you put God first, everything else will fall into line.
My twin,
Awesome.
look.
Were you speaking in French? Laissez-faire pourquoi? Je sais pas, peut-être tu parles en français. Non,
yeah,
créole,
yes.
C'était du créole que tu parlais, n'est-ce pas?
Yeah.
C'était pourquoi, et ça tu as appris pendant que tu étais en prison. That's what I say. I said that you were singing in French, or you were singing in Creole, and that you reminded why you were in physical prison. That's what I just shared with you, all the audience in French, because I have one of my mother language is French, so I could speak fluently French and writing in English and German and Hebrew and all that one. So that's why let go.
Pity upon.
Go ahead. What did you say, Lady Pryia? I didn't get that part, please. Can you repeat?
I say pity upon. I mean, I know little, very little.
Oh oui, juste un petit peu, juste un petit peu. Juste un petit peu means very, very little.
Okay.
Juste un petit peu. That means very little. Okay.
Yes.
De nada, de nada, de nada, de nada.
Okay.
De nada.
But overall, I wouldn't change the
Okay.
experience. It made me who I am, still making me a better person. I feel it made me more humble, more relatable. And I feel that anyone that has any concerns, maybe feeling down and out, experiencing depression, each one reach one. That's what we're here for. Everyone that has an opportunity to get to another level and to be elevated, I feel it's their job and duty to also elevate someone else on that level, and everyone just aspire to ascend and to just the purpose of us being here on earth is to spread the gospel, to spread the love, to try to be a better person. So I feel like ultimately that's what we are here for. That's what the journey encompasses and entails.
But in a nutshell, I'd like to say forgive and move on.
Forgive and move on. And so that I will actually give all the 4 key points that you gave us today, how to take the prison off of the mind. You have your self-choice. I'm giving you the key point that Lady Pryia shared. Self-choice, self-worth, self-confidence. Never allow anyone words to have dominion over your life except the word of God. Wherever you may be find yourself in, whether it be you are in the physical prison or whether it be you are trapped in the prison of your mind, there's one thing you need to do. You need to have the self-preparation and self-confidence. You need to self-condition yourself, knowing that, okay, whatsoever situation you find yourself in, that situation will not take you to sink, but it will actually cause you to grow the better of you. So those are the key few points that she shared today. And she also said to us that your environment shape you. So when you understand that your environment shape you, when you're going somewhere and you see that environment that you are in are not the proper environment for you, you have to just exit that environment quickly, or tune your ear to the right frequency. Tuning your ear to the right frequency, that means that you tune your ear to the frequency of God, who is the creator of you and who will tell you how beautiful you are, how worthy you are, and what you possess and all your ability. And then she also said to us that people have the choice between doing right and between doing wrong. So which one is your choice? Are you going to keep doing wrong so that you will repeat the same error, or are you going to do right so that you will move away from that poisonous environment, or from that contamination? You have to choose. You have the power of the will, and this power of the will that God gave every one of us. Lady Pryia chosen to walk out of the prison without having the prison even in her mind, without having the prison trap her. Could you imagine today that she is a versatile businesswoman traveling the world, and she has been in the prison not for something that she has done to herself, but somehow it was kind of a beautiful God experience that took her there so that she could actually understand better who she is. And we are inviting you today to just try to do. Maybe you may say, okay, I may not have that fortitude in me, but we are asking you to try to ponder upon what we share today. Let it reason, let it sink into your mind, and see where you are with your walk with God, and see how you could actually change your pattern and come back to the right track. It's all what we have for you today. And on behalf of Mamlakak Broadcast Network and also our technical team, I thank you very much for being always keen with us. And for our viewer, our audience, you are so very much crucial for us. And we actually together work as a family so that we can actually bring forth and bring life this live stream to you, this program to you. We enjoy your sharing, Lady Pryia. We enjoy your participation, Ambassador Renee Johnson, and thank you for the privilege of your time. And now I would like to say to all our audience worldwide, thank you very much for the privilege of your time. It has been my pleasure and my honor to be your host today. On behalf of Mamlakak Broadcast Network, we would like you please to follow us on Facebook and Mamlakak Broadcast Kingdom News TV, or in our YouTube channel, Mamlakak Broadcast Kingdom News TV. Please subscribe also so that you could receive, when we are on air, you could receive our live stream, and then share this broadcast with all of your people around you. Thank you, and until I see you again with another edition, keep soaring, tuning in tomorrow for our 10-minute daily plugin. We have a lot of things in store for you, and you could also visit us in our website. We are not telling you that officially say that our website has been launched, and then you could actually find it is www.mamlakakbroadcastnetwork.org. Mamlakak with K at the end, broadcastnetwork.org. You could also subscribe to our newsletter there. So to our guests, please, can we wave the Queen salute? Can the King salute, the royal family salute? Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Wave, wave, wave. I love that. I love the wave. And then I see you at the top where all the eagles are. I see you at the top where all the eagles are. Bye-bye.